In Psalm 82, the biblical God is not alone. The scene opens with him standing in a divine assembly, acting as a judge over other beings. These beings are called Elohim, the same Hebrew word often used for God himself, but here it refers to a group. God stands in their midst and accuses them of ruling the nations unjustly. The verdict is a death sentence. Though they are called gods and sons of the Most High, the text declares they will fall and die like any mortal man. This courtroom drama sits in contrast to the familiar image of a solitary God floating alone in a void. It suggests a heaven that is far more populated and active than usually imagined. This is the divine council, a heavenly court ruled by a supreme God. It is a recurring theme in the Bible, appearing as a celestial government that oversees the affairs of the world. If there is only one supreme creator, who are these lesser gods facing judgment, and how did they end up with the authority to rule in the first place? The Bible's description of this council provides a map of how the ancient authors viewed the structure of the cosmos. In 1 Kings 22, the prophet Micaiah describes the Lord on a throne with the host of heaven standing around him, actively debating a plan for an earthly battle. The book of Job similarly opens with the sons of God presenting themselves before the Lord, acting as officials reporting to a higher authority. These beings are never shown as equals to the biblical God. They are subordinate administrators, members of a heavenly realm who remain entirely under his sovereign control. This celestial administration exists to govern, which leads to the question of what their specific jurisdiction looks like on earth. In Deuteronomy 32, the text describes the moment the nations of the world were originally divided. Most modern Bibles, following a traditional Hebrew text, say the nations were divided according to the number of the sons of Israel. However, an older reading of this passage was preserved in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the ancient manuscripts found in these desert caves. This older scroll, 4Q Deuteronomy J, says the nations were divided according to the number of the sons of God. Many scholars believe this reading describes a world where various nations were assigned to heavenly beings, while Israel belonged directly to the Lord. This creates a picture of a spiritual dimension behind earthly nations, where the actions of empires are linked to the influence of these unseen powers. This is why Daniel 10 speaks of an angelic prince associated with Persia, a spiritual entity that must be overcome for a message to reach the prophet. The text mentions a prince of Greece as well, suggesting a consistent pattern where spiritual forces operate behind global superpowers. While the manuscript difference is a documented historical fact, traditions vary in how they interpret it. Some see them as angels, lesser divine beings, or even human rulers. Returning to the trial in Psalm 82, the condemnation of these gods takes on a specific meaning within this framework of national jurisdiction. The biblical cosmos is presented as a kingdom where humanity is living inside a conflict that reaches far beyond the visible world. God condemns these council members because they failed their primary duty. They allowed the weak and the fatherless to be oppressed, and they let the wicked prosper within their territories. The injustice we see on the ground is portrayed as a direct consequence of this spiritual mismanagement. The corruption of the world is linked to the corruption of its delegated rulers. This is why the psalm ends with the plea, "Rise up, O God, judge the earth." It is a demand for the supreme judge to step in and reclaim authority over every nation. Ultimately, the biblical cosmos is a place of ongoing drama, a world where a sovereign God is actively working to hold every power, whether human or spiritual, accountable for how they have ruled.